I have no idea what's going on with the opening stuff there. Things are freezing on my computer. But anyway, welcome back to Monday. So Monday means it's Horse Center. Back with Swiss Army Shawn, and today with trainer Richard Mandella. Richard, how are you this evening?
Good.
Got a great first name. Did anybody ever tell you that before?
Never thought about it, no.
Richard, his name is my name. It's the name of King. So let's get started right out of the box. You're having some good success this year with the Kentucky Derby Trail. On your way to the Derby with Forbidden Kingdom. See some comments that some horse players are a little bit worried about perhaps his ability to go 1 1/4 miles. What do you think?
Well, we're going to find out. He handled the 2 turns the first try awfully well. We do need to settle his speed down a little bit, but he enjoys using it, so we don't want to discourage him.
Mm-hmm. Well, he certainly ran away from everybody late, so that has to give you some encouragement that he can go the extra 3/16.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said that he kind of ran away from everybody there late at the end, so it has to give you a lot of encouragement that he can get the extra 3/16.
Yes, right.
So,
and I'm hoping with that experience behind him, it should get better.
So the 1 turn, 2 turn thing, do horse players make too much of that, or is that really a big issue?
I'd say most of the time it's not such a big issue, but on the occasion it can make a great difference.
From your experience, what do you think the deciding factors are on the type of horses that can handle it and not handle it?
I think it just depends on the individual and the mindset and temperament, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So when you were a young boy, you were introduced to horse racing by, like so many other folks, by your father. He was a blacksmith. Did he do any work in terms of blacksmithing, like making horseshoes or anything like that? Or was it just a hobby for you guys?
He was a farrier. You know, he shod horses, trimmed them on the farms and training centers. He didn't work at the racetrack. And we had a small ranch in Cherry Valley, California. And we had a little racetrack on it, and we broke and trained horses and made riding horses out of ones that couldn't run. We got to do a little bit of everything.
And that's where you crafted your skill?
That's where I got started.
Well, tell us about when you first got started. Like, what were your thoughts? Did you know right away, this is what I want to do for a living, or did you kind of just grow into that?
Yeah, I knew. I was very set in my plans to be a jockey until I was 14. And at 14, that option was taken away from me. I got too big, but it was an automatic transition to be a trainer.
Yeah, okay. Shawn, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Richard, we'll stay on the same theme here. So this, if all goes well and Forbidden Kingdom goes to the Derby, everything works out, this will be your first Kentucky Derby starter in 18 years. How different is that going to feel than what you're used to before?
Well, I'm looking for improvement.
Yeah. And
you mean from the horse or from your results?
When I was in school, they kept me after class quite a few times, and I did learn doing
that. Will Juan Hernandez be the jockey as of now?
Yes.
Awesome. Also, speaking of your career, you've had a lot of stakes wins. You've had all kinds of wins besides the Derby. What's your most proudest moment, and what's the one win besides the Derby that you wish you had?
I don't know. I'm pretty content in life. I've been fortunate to have some very good days, a couple of Breeders' Cup days and a Dubai Cup. And the first horse I ever ran, named La Mesa, won at Hollywood Park.
With a Hall of Fame jockey on there, right?
Yeah, it was Shoemaker, yeah. Again, just too many to wear people out with, but I've been very fortunate, and I have no regrets. It would be nice to win the Derby, and all my life I wanted to, but if I don't, I'll make it.
There's been some rumors, and we usually don't touch on rumors here, but there's been some rumors that if horses left the Baffert barn, maybe you would pick some up. Is there any truth to any of that?
No.
That was an emphatic no. Right?
Yeah. That's why we usually don't touch on rumors, because they're usually not true.
Mm-hmm. Staying out in that California, though, you have a couple of jockeys that are leaving, Flavien Prat, and you were one of the first to give Flavien an opportunity, I think, when he was 18 years old. So tell us a little bit about that relationship and how much you're going to miss him.
Well, I got a message from the Wertheimer family in France that I've trained for a lot of years, asking would I host a young jockey to work in the mornings, and if I wanted to ride him, fine. If not, fine. But just kind of show him around when he was 18. And he came over, and the first day he got on a horse, it looked like magic to me. I thought he had the finest seat on a horse I ever saw. So,
and how much to him leaving do you think that's going to impact Santa Anita?
I'm worried it's going to hurt California. It's going to hurt me because I really have grown attached to him. He's just a great person, a great jockey. But I'm worried more about California racing because he's a big draw to our sport here, and California is hurting enough with animal rights people and things like that, and we don't need anything negative. We need positive things to happen here.
So that would mean that, in football, you always hear guys like Tom Brady or coaches say next man up, where in horse racing can be man or woman up, right? So
that's right. Yeah.
Who do you see filling those shoes? You think Jessica Pfeiffer, Drayden Van Dyke coming back, Juan Hernandez, as Shawn has mentioned? Who do you see filling that?
Well, those are three very good possibilities. Mike Smith's going to be here. He's always a standout. And there's other, Victor Espinosa is still doing good. Not Castellano.
Velasquez.
I'm sorry, what?
John Velasquez.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's probably not going to stay that long, but he obviously doesn't need anybody to say how good he is. But there's still good riders here.
Mm-hmm. So who do you see getting more?
Flavien is such a star on a horse and off. It very hard to replace.
Who do you see making up most of those mounts for you? Is there anybody that you really have your eye on that think this person is really ready to explode?
Juan Hernandez and I have had a lot of success together, mainly because Flavien's got so hard to get the last couple of years. But we've done very well together, and I'm very happy with him. And there's several others in there that are very easy to go to.
So in terms of California racing, you did mention that it does have a little bit of issues. I've always been curious, and this is not something that's new because I've been around horse racing for quite a long time, wagering. And it always seems to me that California tracks, as great as Santa Anita is, the world's most beautiful track, it always seems to have problems getting bigger fields. What do you attribute that to?
Well, the population of horses in training is reduced considerably in California. 30 years ago, you had Hollywood Park and Santa Anita open, racing and training. You had Pomona Fairgrounds open. You had San Luis Rey Downs Training Center open. Rancho California, Galway Downs open, and several farms in the state that had training facilities. And that has shrunk down considerably. I would bet it's a third or even less than that now there was 30 years ago. So, to keep racing going and filling races, it's tough.
Can you see a day, maybe, unfortunately, where there is no more horse racing in California?
I hope I don't see that.
Yeah, well, I hope I don't too either, but there's a lot of political pressure out there from what I've seen too, as you kind of mentioned, to get rid of horse racing.
Yes, there is, yeah.
A quick question for you on a fun note. So have you ever seen the movie Rush Hour?
No,
you haven't seen the movie Rush Hour. All right, then it won't work for me then. There's a scene in there where obviously you know who Nelson Mandela is, and Chris Tucker in the Rush Hour 2 is a comedian. He's talking about Nelson Mandela. And every time I hear your name, Mandela, I think about a scene in the movie with Chris Tucker when he's talking about not Richard Mandela, Mandela, the civil rights leader, and he calls him Mandela. So it's always something that's come to my mind. And it's always kind of made me think of you whenever he said that. So if you have a chance, check out the movie Rush Hour 2. You'll know it's about to come up when they're in the casino scene. It's a funny movie too.
Okay, I'll have to do that.
Family friendly as well. No question about that. So in terms of Forbidden Kingdom, what's next?
The Santa Anita Derby.
Santa Anita Derby. When is that?
The 9th or 10th of April.
And will that be it then? And then off to the Derby?
Yeah, that'll be a month before the Derby. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, at 50 points, you're pretty much, I think, based upon recent history, that's pretty much been enough to get in. So you have to be pretty confident that you're going to be off to Kentucky the first Saturday of May. If you win, although you say it's not that important to you, but if you do win, how are you going to celebrate?
Probably get a Big Mac at McDonald's.
That's it? Why a Big Mac versus a Whopper?
I don't know. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I really haven't figured it out.
Well, that's certainly understandable. Shawn, any final questions for Richard before we let him roll?
Yeah, let's talk about your son, Gary Mandella, also trains. Tell us about that and how cool that is to have him at the track with you as well.
Yeah, it really is. And we have a lot of good times, doing it together. It's just sad. The game has gotten to feast or famine. They're either with the most popular trainers or they don't have but a handful. And it's a shame because he's a very talented young man and works very hard, honest as the day is long, and the greatest integrity, and a shame that he doesn't have a full barn of horses.
Well, while you touched on that too, if you could change one thing in horse racing with trainers cheating and stuff, what would you change? I
think I'd go back to Mr. Kilroe's plan, and that was to limit the trainers at the main tracks to a limit of 32 stalls, maybe up to 40, but not allowing trainers to have too many in one place, because it takes away the opportunities for the younger guys and the beginners to get started.
So how do you feel like they can catch people who are trying to maybe get an unfair edge by overdosing horses and that sort of stuff, or maybe just giving them stuff they're not allowed to have that the testing hasn't caught up to yet?
I don't have any comments on that.
No, well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Shawn?
No, that's it. Appreciate you coming on, Richard. And good luck in the Derby. We'll definitely be rooting you on.
Well, thank you. It'd be my pleasure.
Yes, and if you win, hopefully you'll come back and celebrate with us.
I got to tell you, so you got a minute?
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Are we close?
Go ahead.
Got as much time as you want.
I told this story at the Hall of Fame, and it's a true story. At Hollywood Park, I had a dead heat in the Grade 1 Beverly Hills Handicap with 2 mares. And the next day, 2 valets that parked the cars were sitting out front in the middle of the afternoon, quiet. And up Century Boulevard comes a motor. The police are escorting Nelson Mandella to the airport because he'd spoken in the Coliseum or something in LA. And the one valet says, the other says, "I wonder who that is." And the other valet says, "I think it's Mandella." And the other one says back, "Well, geez, that was a big deal yesterday, but I didn't think it was that big a deal."
That's funny for sure. Yeah, that's why you also have to watch that Rush Hour show, because now that you actually have a Nelson Mandela connection, it might make the scene actually a little bit even more funny for you. I think you'll appreciate that.
All right.
Alrighty, Richard, we appreciate you coming on. Like I said, your mother chose wisely with the first name, and we look forward to talking to you the first Monday after the first Saturday of May.
Okay, I hope that happens.
We do as well. Have a fantastic evening.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Alrighty, Shawn. So Rock Bobby Riddle says he's not sure Pratt will stay long in New York. He may not always get the best mounts competing against the Ortiz brothers in Rosario. He may return to California quicker than people think. But yeah, you never know. I mean, there's definitely a lot more competition out in New York for the horses than there is. I mean, I'm sure that in California, Flavian gets what Flavian wants.
Absolutely. I will say though, in New York though, if you had to even with those guys, if you had to pick a turf rider, I still think you're picking Pratt. So he's still going to get top notch mounts. He may not hit at 30%, but he's probably going to hit at 19, 20%.
Which will still be pretty good. But he said the reason he wants to go off to New York is because that's where all the Eclipse Award winners are, out in the East Coast. And it's the only way he feels like he can get recognized for the jockey that he is.
Yeah, and that kind of sounds far. Now that the state of California racing is what it is, and you're up against Six Horse Fields, I can buy that. And then you're going against, if he does, hit at 25, 30% against the jockeys that Bobby Riddle just said, then yeah, you'd have to. I mean, if you're hitting at a higher percent than Rosario, then he's won it the last 2 years. So yeah, you would have to win it.
Or Ortiz as well. Those either,
yeah.
Particularly Irad, who wins everything everywhere, especially at Tampa Bay when I don't have him, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
he didn't win 5 Saturday though.
Well, he won enough. I want to thank Bobby Riddle for the thumbs up on Facebook. We appreciate that. The like. Mike Watkins as well. Israel Villarreal. We appreciate that. If you like what you saw too, please hit us up with the like on Facebook. The more we get, the higher we go in their suggested readings or whatever it is they do with their algorithms. Same holds true for YouTube. So like us if you haven't already, and then subscribe and that sort of stuff. Shawn, on to the news, my friend. Classic Causeway. We talked about Forbidden Kingdom being in. Classic Causeway is absolutely in. He's off to the Kentucky Bluegrass. Next race for Classic Causeway. What do you think his chances honestly are to win the Kentucky Derby?
I think he's got a good chance. These fields haven't been great that he's beaten them, but he's beaten them easily. So, I mean, it's unfair to judge him just because of his competition. We'll see how he does in the Bluegrass, and we'll see. I'll also say something's got to give up front, like we say every year, but it always does. You say about that all the time, about how handicappers just handicap. There's 5 speed horses, and they throw them out. You got to figure out which one you say has the late legs. So
the speed of the speed or the late legs, right? The one that's either going to discourage the other speed or it has enough late power to get by the horses at the end. But in the Kentucky Derby lately, man, get to the front, win.
Yeah, that buyer number came back, like 84, and it was really low, but he wasn't pushed all that hard. You got to remember, that's not the race that they want to win. So if they're going to win it easily, they are not going to push that horse to put up numbers or anything else. They're going to save as much as they can. So I wouldn't judge him by that buyer number. Or the
what I would judge him by buyer number or not is the path that he's taken to get there, right? Because you can't think of many Tampa Bay Derby winners that went on to win, if any, the Kentucky Derby. And then the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes has not been, if I recall correctly from previous years' work, that and the Louisiana Derby have not really been big producers for Kentucky Derby winners. The majority of the time, the winner comes either out of the Santa Anita Derby, like Forbidden Kingdom will, or comes out of the Florida Derby from Gulfstream Park. Those 2 races have translated the best. So I'm interested to see who wins the Santa Anita Derby, how big that field is going to be. And then I'm also interested to see who's going to win the Florida Derby, because I do think you're likely to see some of the least. I would guess that the favorite from the Derby is going to come out of one of those 2 races. What do you think?
Yeah, especially because of the history of it. So you're going to bet that, like you're saying. So definitely. And a lot of people use those buyer numbers too. So they're going to really Classic Causeway, they're going to punch them for those buyer numbers as well as betting. So if you like Classic Causeway, because you're going to get decent odds for a really good horse. So
a decent.
Yeah. We'll see. A lot can change, and we still got almost 2 months here. So a lot can change. The field can change. The pace can change. There's still a lot up in the air. I don't like doing the futures bets. I know we'll get to that, but yeah, a lot can change. I'll wait till that week to figure out who I like and who I don't like.
So Richard's horse, Forbidden Kingdom, is actually tied for the 3rd favorite or 4th favorite, 4th favorite coming into Derby futures pool that you just alluded to there. You have all other runners, all other 3-year-olds, where we got an emphatic no that none of them will be running for Richard. Even though his barn and Bob Bafford's barn, from what I read, they kind of butt up against one another. They've known each other for a long time. Maybe that no is really a maybe. But in any case, here you have Mattress Mack. He's at it again, betting on Smile Happy, making him with a couple $1,000 bet down to the second choice with Smile Happy and the Risen Star winner as well. So what do you think about that?
Well, he's lost at least the last 3 big bets that he's had. So
he's due. Gambler's fallacy. He's either due or he's cold.
Yeah. So I mean, if Smile Happy's going to be the favorite, maybe it's
he won't be the favorite. He won't be the favorite Racing Derby Day.
If he's one of the favorites, it might be a good thing to go against him, and it's good that Mattress Mack's going on him if you don't like him, because he's been on a losing streak. So
he's been definitely fadeable, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And he should have taken the points in the Super Bowl. Then he would have won because of the field goal kicker missing the extra point. Then he would have been unlike a Peyton Manning. Instead, he would call him an idiot field goal kicker, who would have been his favorite kicker of all time, unquestionably. So Tampa Bay Downs had their festival weekend, and everybody's talking about the health. A lot of people about the health of horse racing. It looks like the health of horse racing, and I think it's Pasco County, Florida, is doing really well because they had, what was it? $5.5 million. Let's see, total handle of $20.778 million. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. And I mean, that's what everybody was watching Saturday. It was a really great card. So it's good to see that the numbers were like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is good to see. So I think right now, in a lot of respects, Richard talked about feast or famine with the trainers. And it seems to me like it's feast or famine with the tracks too, right?
Yes, absolutely. When you have the big races, they're way up there. When you're not on the spotlight, yeah, it's just what it is.
And the bigger tracks are able to, they're able to draw outside of California. They're able to draw in the bigger fields and the better horses. And California is kind of struggling with that. So is New York, right?
Yeah,
Bob says, keep in mind, Aqueduct was closed on Saturday too because of the what was it, a cyclone bomb or something? Another one of those things, nor'easter. Did you experience any of that, Shawn?
Yeah, we got 4 or 5 inches of snow. Winter went out with a bang. That was pretty much the end of it. Now this week we're going to be in the 60s. So winter's.
How do you know that was the end of it? You're a meteorologist now.
From what I hear, I mean, we're in the 60s now. What also I'll take from Saturday. A lot of people were watching Hector Diaz Jr., who had a riding triple and won one of those big races. So he's a jockey. Pay attention to the better mounts he gets, the more noise he'll be making.
Well, you would think, right? Speaking of which, jockeys in their mounts, the stewards at Aqueduct, where they did not run, said, well, you know what, Jose Lezcano, we don't really see much in terms of your head-turning action. So all those folks out there who think that was well, there's a lot of people out there who were wondering about that. What do you think about the New York Racing Commission's final verdict on this?
I agree with it. I said from the beginning, the only thing he did wrong is he was overconfident with the horse and he lost track of the outside horse. I think he would have lost the race anyway, but he just saw the inside horses and he had a ton of horse left and he got cocky and the outside horse came and won. But I don't think he did anything wrong as far as the bettors or integrity or anything like that. So I don't know why you would punish a guy for that.
The only thing there is a sentence in this story, and we'll link to all the stories at horseracingtoday.net that makes me go a little bit. And in there it says the matter remains under ongoing review.
Yeah, I don't know why they say that when they give a result. I mean, I almost feel like that's just to make everybody quiet down about it. Yeah, and go away and go, okay, well, they're still looking at this.
So you think that's just a lawyerly thing that they stick in there so everybody kind of shuts up?
Yeah, so, they don't think it's the end result, although I do think that's probably the end result. The thing with that too, the whole fix thing, there's people, if you think he screwed up, there's people that won because he screwed up too, but you never hear about those people that won the race because of that. You just hear about the people that lost. So it really bugs me with that too. Well,
Mike says he had let a horse run. I wonder sometimes, I've never ridden a horse in a race, but I do really wonder sometimes about some races when I'm watching them, what the jockeys do. And I'm not one to criticize because I'm not there, but there's been sometimes, like I was on a horse the other day, again, goes out by itself in a long race. It's on the lead, 3, 4, 5 lengths in front of everybody else. And it's running fractions, are too fast. And you just wonder, why does a horse get out to a 4 or 5, 6 length lead in a route and run fractions when it's uncontested? That are too fast. And if I know it, sitting on my couch watching horse racing from Chicago, I can't understand how someone who's ridden hundreds of times doesn't understand that doesn't work.
I agree, but you know what else also frustrates me with that, and this is the whole, you can't do one, can't do the other, is when a horse is out in front and the jockey holds him back so much and lets the field catch up to him, and then somebody gets to jump on him.
And then he can't get him going.
Yeah, and then he can't go again. And it's like, okay, well, so there's got to be a balance there. I will say some jockeys really want to be involved and do every little move. And there's other jockeys that they just leave the horse do what they want and try to listen to their horse. So it also just depends on the jockey there.
I'm kind of in the Jose Ortiz camp on this one. And that's that jockeys, the really good jockeys, they have a good clock. Mm-hmm. And the ones that maybe are not as good, their clock isn't as good as the really good jockeys. And because their clock isn't as good, maybe they're misjudging one way or the other how fast they're going. So maybe they don't feel like they're putting in 21 and 3 at 1 mile and a 16th, claiming 5,000 at Fauner Park, but they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then you got those horses, that are 60 to 1, 70 to 1, and they just think that's their best shot, is just go out, go fast, and go as far as you can go. And sometimes the other horses just get discouraged, and it does actually work. So,
or we've heard jockeys say that the reason they do that is because horses are herd animals. And if they can't really see the horse in front of them, then they're going to herd with the horses around them, and then they won't go chase down the one in front of them. But the issue is that the jockey can see the horse up there, not the horse, right? So the jockey's going to make him go get him, right?
Right.
Yeah, for me. Anyway.
And usually, either way, the horse comes back to him anyway, so they don't have to go get him because the horse is coming back.
Always, yeah. She's going to start to decelerate really quickly. Tomorrow, Shawn, Terry, and I will be back at noon Eastern to go Parks, everybody's favorite track. We seem to have the most folks show up when we do Parks. 11 races tomorrow. That'll be fun. There were 8 races today at Turf Paradise, and Terry and I had the hot dog pick 4. And we had the prime rib pick 4 twice. Well, 3 times for 50 cents because one of my horses scratched in the first leg, and then the 4 horse ended up going off as the favorite and then closed it all out, and I had it. So that was nice. I think the last one paid like $190. So that certainly works out, right?
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you got it 3 times like that.
Yep. And because Terry and I both had it. So that was a good thing. So we both had the hot dogs. So really good day over it, but we both somehow missed our best bets, and we both somehow really didn't do so well on our box it ups. But I'll take the hot dog and the prime rib pick 4 because they pay more any single day. And if you happen to get lucky and you're one of those folks that hit the prime rib pick 4 or the hot dog pick 4, do us a huge favor, Shawn, and do what?
Go over and buy some HRT merchandise. Rich is supporting it there with the 6, and I got the number 3 on.
Yes, indeed. Quick story, not quite as fun as Richard Mandella's story about Nelson Mandella, but I was, and you can see that this nice little baseball shirt. Maybe you got a softball squad, right? You can outfit everybody in number 11, who's batting number 11. Yeah, head on over to horseracingtoday.net, hit the HRT gear, help support the show in that way. But I was out walking my dog, had this on because in Chicago it's 60 some degrees out today, and you're able to go out and it's funny, right, Shawn? In the summer, in the spring, it's 55, 60 degrees outside in the Northeast and in the Midwest, and it's warm.
Yeah. Right.
You can go out in shorts and a t-shirt and you feel warm.
Yeah.
Now, let's fast forward to October, 55 degrees, you're going to be freezing. Which is kind of, but I was,
and that's what happens.
Go ahead.
That's what happens too here in the winter. With these weird weather, the way it goes, you get those 50-degree days, and then it goes back down to 10 degrees. Well, that 10 degrees is a lot colder than what it was 3 weeks ago because your body's not used to it.
Absolutely. But I'm walking the dog, and someone comes up to me out of nowhere and goes, "Hey, what's that 6 hat and shirt all about?" So I explained to them it was horse racing. They're like, "Oh, I like it. Where do I get one?" So I hope I explained to them where they can get it. We'll see if they actually get one. If I see someone walking around in my neighborhood, the same stuff on, I'll be like, hey, that's pretty awesome. But in any case, Terry and I will be back tomorrow because I mentioned to do parks. Sean, who will we be with tomorrow night?
We will have Terry T.D. Houghton, who's had a tremendous career. He's also had some scary accidents, but he's still riding at Mahoning and still doing good. So we'll have the Iron Man on himself tomorrow night. Looking
forward to that. And Wednesday?
Devin Magoon.
Magnoon.
Jockey runs at Delta, Evangeline, sometimes ships with his girlfriend Riley when she has horses at fairgrounds and stuff. So
or Sam Houston, right? Because it's not that
Sam Houston, yeah. Young jockey that he's also had he's another one who last year had a very scary accident. Didn't think he would ever ride again, but right back at it.
Right back at it for the love of the game, Sean. There's no question about that. So make sure you tune in for that. And then if you haven't done so yet, as I mentioned, make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Horse Racing Radar TV. Hit the bell so that when we go live, you're notified. And then if you can go ahead and subscribe to Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, specifically Twitter, at Horse Race Today. Sean, why do we want people to explicitly sign up for Twitter?
Because you keep telling them I'm going to do a TikTok, which we don't have yet, in a Speedo and flaming chainsaws. Nobody wants to see that. That's why we're not getting to it. That's why we're not getting to it.
So you think we're just going to die at $9.99? No one wants to be that person?
Yeah, we'll start losing as we get closer.
Oh, I'll pay people at that point. All right, Sean. So that wraps up Monday's version of Horse Center. We'll be back again tomorrow. Same bat time. Make sure you join us tomorrow for Touchdown Terry Houghton. Looking forward to that. And again, Terry and I tomorrow at 12 noon going over to Parks Picks. Until then, we hope everybody has a fantastic Monday night. And we'll see you tomorrow when we'll take you from wire to wire. How do you like that glow, Sean?
There we go.
Beautiful. Have a fantastic Monday. Thanks for joining us, folks. And hopefully on the way out, all the videos and stuff work that weren't working on the way in.